with Steve podcast on the Boss Up Houston Network. Come get your questions answered. We'll see you then. And remember, lawyer up. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. It is me, Steve Okoroha, here with the Lawyer Up with Steve-O podcast. I'm your host for today, and of course, I have yet some more guests today. But before we get into that, just wanted to, for those that haven't, watched before, I always like to take care of you guys, my newer viewers, and make sure that you know exactly what this show is about. Don't want to leave you guys in the dark. So what I do is I help provide legal advice and legal tips, that help impact your lives and keep you out of legal troubles, so that hopefully you don't need a lawyer. But if you do, you can definitely give me a call. But we are here today, and what the theme of this season has been is highlighting people that are, doing some pretty great things in the community. This show is no different. I definitely want to highlight, more individuals. So as usual, if you want to be highlighted on the show, definitely reach out to me. I'll give my contact information at the end of the show. And then we can hopefully, see you on the show and be able to talk to you some more. So basically what I want to do is to tell you exactly who is to my right. We're talking to not one, but two strong advocates and people that are trying to make things better in our community. And uplift those that are in need. My first guest has a background in law enforcement, focused her time on mentoring ex-offenders and to give them second chances at life. Her company, Simple Choice Staffing Solutions, helps those formerly incarcerated find employment and the skills they need to succeed in life. So ladies and gentlemen, we have Angela Johnson here.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for coming. We have quite a bit to talk about. I want to highlight a lot of the work you're doing, and the theme of this show is activism in the law, and I call both of you guys that are here on the show Sheros, because you guys are doing a lot of different hard work, and it's a lot that we want to mainly highlight and get into. So, guys, we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna first take a quick commercial break, pay some bills, but we will be right back.
Oh my God! I just got through watching a great show on Boss Up Houston Network. Have you heard? They're bossing up, okay? And I heard they're looking for you. Any podcasters, talk show hosts, if you're a writer or producer, we definitely need you. Come aboard and boss up.
Are you a small business owner that is struggling to promote your company?
Our topic today is, what's your status?
Shoot the dice at this point.
You just shoot the dice. Roll the dice.
So,
Yes.
Hey, how y'all doing? It's attorneys.
I love it.
Imagine being televised on a national platform. How about being a host or sponsor on a syndicated podcast? Or being featured on exclusive promotions and interview for your product to your ideal customer? Hi, I'm Kayla Sneed, and I'm head of sales with Boss Up Houston. And here at Boss Up, we like to help small business owners and entrepreneurs advertise, promote, or become a sponsor for one of our television, podcast, or radio shows. All you have to do is click the link down below to see if you qualify. I'll be seeing you soon.
This is Boss Up Houston, where we look up, stay up, and boss up.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Glad you joined us today. This is Lawyer Up with Steve-O, and we're here to get into some work by the wonderful Miss Angela Johnson, who's going to talk to us a little bit first about her law enforcement background, and we're going to get into some other great things that she's doing. So, Miss Johnson, with your company, as I stated before, Simple Choice Staffing Solutions, what type of services do you offer?
Well, my services are, we do administrative assistance, general labor, hospitality. I have some people that don't have any type of job skills. So I deal with workplace readiness and job readiness, which are two totally different things.
Okay.
So with workplace readiness, it's getting them reestablished, the understanding on how to fill out job applications, how to interview, dressing for success.
Yeah.
But then the job place readiness is when we go in and we do mock places, like working in a restaurant, that training that they need. Some people, I found that some people that are coming home that have been incarcerated still don't know how to read.
Wow.
So I at least have to make sure you know how to work a cash register.
Yeah.
If hospitality is more to it than just cleaning up a bedroom, understanding the different chemicals, things like that. So partnering up with different companies so that these people that are coming home have a fair chance. And that also the employer understands that some of these people have been incarcerated for 10, 15, 20 years.
Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're coming home, nothing stops moving for us. Time continues to go, but it stops for them.
For them, yeah, absolutely.
So getting them acclimated to the different procedures within the workplace, wherever they're going to be working at. Whether it's at McDonald's, Burger King, the Hilton Hotel, people don't realize that when that person went to jail 20 years ago, the cash registers that are at McDonald's now
are completely different.
Completely different.
Yeah, and that it makes me think about a lot of things that people kind of take for granted. Once they see someone coming out of there, they're stepping into a new world.
Absolutely.
It's almost like, when COVID happened, there were some people that were off at sea, and then they came back, and then they just came to like empty towns and streets, and they were like, "What happened?"
Right.
It seemed like a nuclear bomb or something. But it's that drastic of a difference sometimes for these people. They're coming out into the world, and yes, everything is moving and everything, but it's different. A lot of things have advanced. So, the next question I want to ask was, what are some of the misconceptions or the most common misconceptions of ex-offenders that people on the outside have of them?
I guess one of the biggest things is, why can't you find a job? Why can't they find a job already?
Yeah.
Why you don't have anywhere to live?
Yeah.
But a lot of times those people that come home that have been incarcerated for any length of time, the places that they did call home no longer exist.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to find a place. You cannot honestly, society thinks, they were rehabilitated and now they're home, but what does that really look like? And for me, I had to stop and think about it. I have a brother doing 25 years. I have one who just came home from doing 17. My son is doing 13 years. So what does that actually look like? Okay, in order for them to be successful in the re-entry back into society, they have to have a place to live.
Yeah.
They can't continuously stay at the halfway house.
Yeah.
They have to have a job. These people come home with maybe $100 in their pocket that the state give them, 50 when they leave and 50 when they get to a halfway house.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So how can you honestly say that you're helping someone to get back on their feet?
Yeah.
So people thinking that, they came home, they had some money, they still have to buy clothes, because 9 times out of 10, the clothes that they have, they don't have anymore. They still have to find a place to stay. Most of the shelters are not taking them because they full. We're talking about right now in the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah.
So you have to come home, see your parole officer, make sure that you check in as soon as you get home, find a place to stay if you didn't parole out to a halfway house, then find a job within 30 days of being home.
Yeah.
So all of this happens, and then they wonder why people revert back to what they knew that caused them to end up being incarcerated in the beginning.
That's true. That's very true. And a lot of times we don't think about that. We just, we have that whole, American build yourself up, pull yourself up from your bootstraps and stuff, and we don't think how difficult it is for them to get back in. But going along that same wavelength, kind of bringing the whole law aspect into it, and you have a very unique perspective because you do advocate, for these individuals. what laws or policies are keeping ex-offenders from being able to exercise normal life when they come out?
They have, right now we are working on bills to try to get them where they can actually get into an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they're pulling the background. You have a background, they won't let you in.
Okay.
You know, those, you know, things like that makes it very difficult.
Yeah.
For an individual to actually even try to, like you say, pull up their bootstraps.
Yeah.
Because you're turned away. Your background is keeping you away. So you have different laws that, for me, one of the major things is housing. Housing. Penny Shaw actually is working on a bill for housing and environmental, you know, and to do that, that means that she had to literally take time to sit down and think about housing bills.
Yeah. And housing is just one of those most important things. But, you know, along with that, how do you feel about, you know, being able to vote and those, you know, the things that, the types of bills and laws that are being put in place to restrict ex-offenders from voting?
There are bills that are restricting us, period, from voting.
True.
You know,
True,
like,
yes.
you know, House Bill 6 and Senate Bill 7. You know, the voter suppression bill, you know, which I personally believe in. We coined it as the Jim Crow 2.0 bill.
That's right, yeah.
But when it comes to ex-offender, I believe that once you've done your time, you should be able to vote.
Yep.
You should not continuously have to be paying a debt to society when you've actually been incarcerated for any length of time.
Yeah.
Getting those bills to where if you've done, Sefronia Thompson is working on a bill. If you've actually done, why would you be a lifer on parole? Mm-hmm. You have 40 years. They gave you 40 years in time.
Yeah.
You come home after doing 20 of that, but you're still on parole for the other 20?
Yeah.
That is ludicrous.
Yeah.
You know, I think that people don't stop to think about it until it actually happens to them. I was one of those police officers that was also that have friends that were like, oh, don't worry, you know, girl, just be glad that he didn't get 50 years and he only got 15 years.
Yeah.
But that's because I had never been in that situation. Mm-hmm. And then life hit me. And then I went from being that friend to trying to figure out what happens when they come home on parole. I'm thinking, I said, well, oh, if he's coming home, well, so this person had 20 years, they gave him 40, but he came home at 20. So what happened to the other 20? Oh, they have to do it on parole. No.
Yeah.
I think that once you've paid your debt to society or you've been locked away for 20 years, you haven't gotten in any trouble, anything like that, you should be able to come home and they have a program for you to help you wean you back into society. Mm-hmm. And after that, certainly at the time, that might be two years. Because 2 to 3 years allows you with the resources to get reestablished.
Yeah, exactly.
Then the rest of that time is none and void.
Yeah.
So if you don't do that, though, that's a catch-22. Because you can't vote.
Yeah.
If you try to vote, that's against the law.
And you get right back.
And you get right back into that situation.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate how the cards are stacked against you know, ex-offenders, and it almost seems like, you know, they're of course we know that they're profiting off of this.
Absolutely.
And it almost seems like the rehabilitation mantra that has been kind of behind the scenes is not really all that there. It's more or less just let's punish and keep these certain people away and keep them as outcasts and shun them, rather than, you know, hey, you did a crime, you've paid the time, let's make you understand that, okay, 1, you're not going to do it again, but 2, here's how to be a more productive member of society, you know.
I have a 13-year-old, well, no, he's 16, lives in Montgomery County. His name is Bradley. Mm-hmm. And Bradley is going to court on the 13th of next month.
Okay.
He says to me, he says, I say, have you ever been in trouble before? He says, no, not really. I said, well, what are you going to court for? He says, well, I got an assault charge. He said, oh, no, he didn't say it like that. He said, oh, it was just a little assault charge. I said, that's not as little. I said,
yeah.
I said, that's kind of major, Bradley.
Yeah.
He says, well, they're trying to give me 3 years of probation. And I said, what? And I thought about it, and I said, he's 16.
Wow.
A kid who's never really been in any trouble. He's done something stupid. But this is where the system, this is where our kids that are in school go from school to prison pipeline.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if black or brown kids go more often.
Yep.
But let's just talk about the word marginalized. Not just black or brown people fall into that category.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about white kids that have the same income ratio that our kids have to have.
Yeah.
And they can't afford the free world attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of fighting for your kid or that kid, you sign a deal, or you want my kid to sign a deal for 3 years of probation, which is setting that kid up for failure.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, no. I said, I'm not going to allow that to go on. I said, I'm going to come to court with you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to say, what are the other options that we have? We're going to find some resources for this kid.
Yeah.
Because between the ages of 16, so you think about 16, so 17, 18, 19,
Mm-hmm.
he is good and ready for TDCJ.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
at that point, and then not to mention the fact, if he takes that and there's nothing on there for deferred adjudication, at that point, he should go from being 16 years old on deferred for maybe 90 days or even a year probation. I could see a year probation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Deferred, doesn't get in any more trouble for the next 5 years, he should be good to go.
Yeah.
Because by that time, he's making good decisions along the way. But we have to look at all of the dynamics when it comes to kids in the juvenile system.
That's true. That's very true. And you touched upon something that I wanted to, ask you. We know the issues currently going on with justice inequalities and police brutality towards minorities and everything. And of course, your experience with law enforcement, you've been directly in the middle of it. So what do you think the reason for that is, based off of your past experience and kind of what's going on, right now?
I'm gonna be very transparent with you, okay?
Yep.
And the reason I can do this, I have had an opportunity to go back into law enforcement. Do I want to? I'm not sure, because I question myself at times. What does a good officer look like? Mm-hmm. I keep hearing everybody say, oh, we need good officers, we need good officers. When I was trained as an officer, when I got on the street, we go through what you call FTO. So we have a field training officer, a seasoned officer that trains us in the field.
Okay.
I was told everything that you learned in the classroom, you throw it out the window.
Oh, wow.
I was told that I would be sued. I would arrest an innocent person. That, yes, absolutely.
Wow.
And I just read this off because my Code of Criminal Procedure book that I have, that big, thick traffic book that I have.
Wow.
One of my professors at the time was named Mr. Gottschall. And he made us write that in the front of that book, which we call a hymnal.
Really? Wow.
So for me to hear that, if you didn't want to bruise somebody, because we can't be offended as officers.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I'm going to catch a bunch of flack behind this, but I don't care. I've brake checked somebody before.
Mm-hmm.
So when it was said when this interview came about that I was watching on television, and the guest said, We just want good officers. I had to stop and say, was I being a good officer because I was offended that that person called me out of my name? I mean, the ugliest word. And I'm like, just shut up. Just be quiet. Because I would always tell people, please and thank you. So I would get in trouble for that. I would get ripped for it.
For saying that.
Yes, but I feel like you put your pants on the same way I do. So that doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful. I have to cuss you out and drop F-bombs all over the place.
Yeah.
However, I didn't feel so good when I reflected back on that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, am I really a good officer? Because I brake check somebody. I just told, and a lot of people don't even know what that means. You know, when you brake check somebody, that's somebody who's already in the seatbelt, and you just mash the gas. I mean, you just slam the brakes.
Yeah.
And I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very young in policing at that time. And so you have to be very careful when you bring a new officer on that you don't influence the wrong things off on that officer.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you know better, you do better.
We'd hope so. But
We would hope so.
Yeah.
But not everybody does that. There are things like we're trained on a plank position.
Mm-hmm.
George Floyd should have never died.
It's true.
I kept asking the question, what are the procedures? What are y'all procedures? Because we're trained in defensive tactics to plank somebody, but that's not when they're in handcuffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not taught to put our knees in their back.
Yeah.
There are ways to restrain, but once a person is in custody and the cuffs are on and they are locked, we are taught at that moment that person is no longer a threat.
Yep.
So the bending of the chokehold, it has to go. No, that has to go. That qualified immunity, if you're a good officer, we don't worry about qualified immunity because we're not doing anything to
Not doing anything wrong.
violate anybody's civil rights.
Yeah, that's true.
You still have an opportunity to think before you react.
Mm-hmm.
It's a split second, but you get to think. It's common sense to know, even in the police academy, when we are trained on firearms and we are taught to keep our guns in a full position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a reason for that. Why is it that you're running away and now I'm shot in the back?
Yeah.
Or when the young man was killed and the officer said, taser, taser. My dominant hand is my right hand, so that's the side that I carry my gun on.
Yeah.
Your less dominant side is where your taser goes.
Yeah.
So you literally, they do that for a reason. It makes you think before you react. So all the things that need to happen in that George Floyd bill needs to stay there. The one that Rep. Ron Reynolds put together, Sandra Bland, all of that needs to stay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So there is no reason that I feel like this. Either one or two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to sue the agency or I'm going to sue the officer.
Yeah.
So if they sue the agency, then the officer isn't learning anything. He's not being held accountable. That's why it's called accountability.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, the police agency and the police officer, this is mama and daddy, and this is the kid.
Mm-hmm.
So am I going to keep doing something to the mama and daddy because of the actions that the kid did, and the kid is 18 years old?
Yeah.
So no, that's not what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So I am going to continue to push and fight for every part of that bill to be passed.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you're going right into the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was a lot of your legislative work. I mean, you're an advocate for bills to be passed that effectuate some of these changes that we need and help us move forward as a community. So can you explain some of the work that you do, like who you work with and, some of the bills that you're working on?
Right now, I work with the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, the accountability team, where Dr. Candace Matthews heads that.
Yep.
She's a chair. She is
Mhm.
awesome.
She is.
She's about that life.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I also work with, I do a lot of volunteer work with Texas Organizing Project, and I'm on the Right to Justice team,
Okay.
as well as the Texas for All and the statewide legislative team.
Okay.
And that legislative team is where we break down the bills. And we talk about some things that, what can we live with?
Mm-hmm.
What are we pushing for?
Yeah.
And what's negotiable? So far, the bills that we're talking about, the things that we want in there, the Republicans don't want. So we have to continue to push for those bills. Then what I've done is started taking some young people, between, like my daughters are 14 and 12. So I bring them with me a lot of times. And even when I'm at home and I'm reading over bills and I'm in my office, I'll have conversations with those girls about it. And then when their friends come over, I sit down and talk to them, because my oldest one, she's actually on student council.
Okay.
And she was running. She decided that she did not want to run for president of student council because her best friend was running.
Ah, okay.
So she decided to run for vice president.
Yeah.
And she won.
Okay.
And I told her, she says, Mom, I just didn't want anybody to be mad at me. I said, no. I said, no matter where you go, somebody's going to be mad at you. So when I started noticing that they were really interested in student council, and then one of their friends likes to do debates, I started printing off the bills, and I sit with them and talk to them about it, because it's just about finding a way that they would understand. So I can look at the bill and say, I understand this, this, and this. And when I talk to them about it, and I'll be like, Mom, I don't understand that. So then I have to find a way to communicate that to them.
Yeah.
And we just have candid conversations about what they see is, what they think is fair and what they think isn't fair, once I break the bills down to them.
Yeah.
And Pure Justice is another organization I work with Sasha Leggett and Rashawn Evans. So they work a lot we talk a lot about policy as well, what we're doing and how we're gonna move with these certain bills. I do a lot of work in the community.
I see, and we definitely appreciate you. I mean, this is just one of those things that I always say. I mean, you guys are people like you are the unsung heroes of our society. We that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this, was to bring you in and really talk about these things, because these issues are affecting us right now. And it's funny you talk about student council. I was a big student council nerd back in the day.
I was too.
I was president, almost every year, or vice president or secretary. I went to the regional, I went to the state conventions. I did all of that. So it's a good way to learn about what it takes to manage people and what it takes to really be involved in making impactful changes, and I think it's great that you talk with those people and you actually connect it to some outside school stuff like bills that are actually going on a House floor. It's really nice. So okay, well, I think you've hit on everything that I wanted to ask you, which is great. I mean, you did it exactly in kind of the flow and the order that I wanted to do. So but before I go to break and then you leave us, I want to give you a chance to publicize kind of some of the upcoming events that you have going on, or maybe some initiatives that you want people to know about. I just want to give you a few minutes to do that.
Well, I mean, right now we have a call to action. Well, Dr. Matthews has a call to action in Austin on tomorrow.
Okay.
With the slab riders. The same thing that we did a few weeks back.
Yep.
And then because I am with the Montgomery County chapter, we're doing a call to action tomorrow in Montgomery County out at Conroe.
Okay.
On the voter suppression bill.
Okay.
And we will be talking again, of course, about George Floyd and the bills that we need to make sure get through.
Get passed, yeah.
Right. And we'll have motorcycles. We'll do a motorcycle
Sounds like
caravan
fun.
out there. Right. And we also, guys, this is really important that we hold these corporations accountable, which we have some corporations that have They are on board with us. And right now it's about, we have been really going after AT&T because you're funneling money, but you're saying you believe in diversity and equality. Mm-hmm. But your actions don't align with what you're saying.
I didn't know that was going on.
Right. So every, and I do mean every corporate AT&T store, Texas Organizing Project, along with CWA, we are on it. Okay. Because you don't get to tell us one thing and show us something different. Okay. We need you to stop funding money to these bills. And not only stop it, but come out and say you are in support of helping us.
Yeah.
We want the bill dismantled. We don't want it, period. We want it gone.
Yeah.
Because you're taking away 24-hour voting. You're taking away drive-up voting. You know, these are things that we have to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Early voting.
Absolutely.
No, we're not going to stand by and watch you take that from us.
Yeah.
We're not going to take it lying down anyway.
Yeah, no, of course not. And I had no idea AT&T was doing that, but that's good to know. You know, for those that patronize AT&T. This is what being involved is really about, and learning about what corporations are behind, because politics is all about money, unfortunately, and a lot of powerful corporations have a lot of insight and say as to the laws and policies that get passed that affect us. So that was some very good insight on what's going on. So thank you so much for joining us and giving us that great insight. Keep up the good work. You're definitely somebody that I want to continue focusing and highlighting on, because you're doing some work that is really impactful in the community. And I want to say that I appreciate the work you're doing, and
thank you.
I hope that you continue. And everybody out there, if you want to get involved, I can definitely pass on Ms. Johnson's contact information. There's so many ways to get involved. You heard all the organizations that she's a part of. I've definitely kind of dabbled in some of those organizations myself. So stay tuned afterwards. I can definitely get you her contact information. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll come back with our next guest. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Steve, I'm in big trouble. I need your help.
I got you. Don't worry, man. What do you need? At Goodman & McGill, we offer a wide variety of services catered directly to you. So come to us for whatever issue you have. We can definitely take care of it and offer you very fast and prompt communication and excellent service. That is our motto here at Goodman & McGill. Our services include family law, divorce, child custody, child support, name changes, business and contracts, estate planning, probate, traffic tickets, wills, trusts.
Thanks again, Steve.
No problem. Anytime.
Yes, sir.
Here at Goodman & McGill, we take care of all of your legal issues. Check us out online at www.goodmanandmcgill.com.
Our new house is amazing. Great street, huge yard.
There is a bit of an issue with our neighbor's fencing. At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
Which helps us save even more.
Hey, Sarah. Hey, Peter.
Touché.
What? Tongue down.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
If you like this video, please share it.
And hit the subscribe button to watch more great Geico videos if you... Hey, guys, can you please watch the begonias? Just planted those.
Sorry.
What are you doing here? Red Table Talk, the Estefans. Time to take the table to a whole new place. It's coming to Miami. 3 different women, 3 different generations. We're loud, we're proud. Let's go.
talking about relationships, love, sexuality.
Oh my gosh. We all know that you are fuerte. Yes, I'm a tough woman, but I'm very vulnerable.
Like muchas Latinas.
In order to move forward, you have to go to those places.
I like boys. I like girls. I like both.
Honesty will set you free.
We are putting all of that on the table.
Red Table Talk, the Estefans.
Be a part of the conversation. Only on Facebook Watch.
Where we look up, stay up.
Welcome back, everybody. Like I said, we have an action-packed show for you today. We have not one but two Sheros, as I like to call them. We're talking about activism and the law, and there's a lot going on in society today that we want to highlight. As you heard from Ms. Johnson and a lot of her work, she's doing a lot of great stuff in the community. But I brought you someone else that is also doing a lot of great work in the community. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She's a community activist leader, leadership coach, a minister, and salon owner who is apparently very busy with all of those titles. She works to launch her cause titled Get Well America, to speak on racial inequality, social injustice, and uniting all of America. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Dr. Vicki Bush.
Good
How you doing today?
Good afternoon.
Happy
Thank you
Friday.
for having me.
Happy Friday.
Yes,
Glad to have
Friday.
you. So we got a lot to talk about, so we're just going to dive straight into it. So Get Well America. What exactly is entailed with that? I mean, it sounds like a pretty big initiative. So
It is. Get Well America came about during the death of George Floyd.
Okay.
I was forced to look at the video with his life being snuffed away from him, being literally taken from him. And I was forced to look at it by my son. And he literally sat me down and said, "Mom, look, listen." And I had told him, "Well, no, I'm busy. I really don't want to look at that. I've seen so much of that. It really hurts me." He said, "No, Mom, you have to." And when I looked at it, it changed my life immediately. We always say the old cliche, somebody needs to do something. It ran across my mind, and the very next thing I said was, I'm that person. I am going to do my part today. And I immediately got a rally together at that moment. Wow. And I said, enough is enough. America needs to be well. We need to be well.
And there's just so much unrest with racial tensions and police brutality and people are taking sides of this. I mean, surprisingly, people are taking sides on this George Floyd case, but there has been a sense that America hasn't been well, and maybe we're not on one accord in just understanding the value of everyone's life.
Absolutely.
So what have been some of the things that you were doing with the organization in order to address some of those things?
One of the things, I'm just driving home the point that an injustice anywhere, as Dr. King said, is an injustice everywhere.
Yep.
And so I'm out there, you know, I've not been in the political arena all of my life. This is just, I am an American.
Yep.
That was forced to see some things that I didn't want to see. I'm an American, a black woman American that was forced to worry about my children, you know, just doing everyday things. So I am first just out there, just driving home the point that, again, enough is enough. And so I'm out there doing rallies. I'm out there talking. When I meet people at the grocery store, I make sure that I do my part as far as, you know, taking the time to make America better by being better.
Yeah.
You know, just, you know, a good morning, a hello. It makes a difference, a smile. Let me get that door for you. Can I help you with that? It makes a difference. And I've said it so many times that what happened, in my opinion, is a character issue, because you have to care about an individual.
Yeah.
You do. You have to care about your fellow Americans for us to want to make America get better.
Absolutely. No, you're definitely right about that. And you know, like Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror.
It starts with the. I'm so glad you said that.
It's just one of those things, and that always rings true for me whenever
Absolutely.
you know we have issues like this. It starts with us.
Absolutely.
And you saw that, you recognized that, and you said, hey, I'm going to, you know, get up and do something.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what it's about. So I mean, organizations like this is yet another organization, ladies and gentlemen, that you can get involved in. I'm always giving different ways that people can get involved, so that really you don't have an excuse to get involved.
Yes.
You can always, you know, take the time out to do it. I run a full-fledged law firm, and I'm still out, you know, trying to make changes. So it's very important that we as citizens get involved and actually be the change that we want to see. So in terms of like community activism, you know, I know you do a little bit of legislative work as well. What have been some of your efforts outside of Get Well America that you've been involved in?
Well, I actually do a Zoom call every Saturday where I am talking to a group of people, and then I pray with that group of people. So just out there, just like I said, just doing things that I can do. You know, I have a salon, so I'm every day I'm driving that point home to, you know, my clients as well as people that's around there. And again, this is new to me, so you'll see me out there very visibly here shortly, very visibly. And if I get a chance today on your podcast to, it's a poem, but it's my manifesto of what Get Well America is in a nutshell.
Hey,
at any point.
Go right ahead.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. And I think this is a drive home. This ends all questions. It's my personal manifesto as a black mother and black woman American.
I love it. I love it.
So it says, America the beautiful, great and yet strong. But what's in a name? Unseen fame? A song? Stop singing and grab my arm and let's sound the alarm and let's make it loud with a universal sound. For this is a clarion call for everyone around. All for one and one for all, but the phone keeps ringing. Please answer the call. And if you can't, we can. And if you won't, then I will. Is this for real? My God, peace, be still. Listen, people are crying because loved ones are dying, and untold truths, there's evidence somebody's lying. This reality is quite difficult to bear, and disparities on humanity, well, we've all seen our share. So America the beautiful, tear down your wall. Look in the mirror. For liberty and justice includes us all. So tolerate indifference, pursue love, and seek peace, and lay down your weapons. All wars must cease. America, get well, America. I'm praying for you, for we have an unshakable strength that will always push us through. So let us join hearts together. Yes, United, we can stand with a unanimous vote to heal our land. So may God shine his light upon us with an eternal flame, and let us all carry the torch until we rise yet again, until mercy speaks and hatred sits down, until everybody has boots on the ground, until all hands are on deck becomes our creed, and peace becomes the blood we bleed, for this is how we breathe. And until love is universal and no longer a dress rehearsal, forge on, America. We can make this our truth. We, the United States, the red, white, and the blue. Be strong and courageous, heads lifted, standing tall, waiting until the God of this universe heals us all. Wow. And the preacher and me will say, amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
So that's what Get Well America is all about. That's my mantra. It's my manifesto. It's my personal declaration.
I love it.
Period.
I love it. That said so much in just one statement. I mean, you pretty much summed up exactly what it is, and I love stuff like that kind of uses the arts and spoken word to really put all of that together. I mean, I think that just puts in detail exactly the problems and also the solutions.
Absolutely.
A lot of times we sit around and we talk about the problems.
Absolutely.
But people, it takes a unique mindset to really talk about what exactly is needed and to find different ways of bringing people into those solutions. So I think that was really good. Do you have something like that? Like you have a website or something?
Everything is in process right now as we speak.
Good.
I do have my Instagram that's being put up.
Good.
So,
Good.
Right now, I just have people corresponding with me through my email.
Okay.
But like I said, I'm coming. I'm going to be very visible within the next couple of weeks, so you can look forward to seeing Get Well America everywhere as I stand for social injustice. I want to see social justice.
Good.
I stand up for racial inequality. I want to see racial equality.
Yeah.
I stand against the racial equity. People, we always scream, "Oh, I want racial equality," but I'm like, it's more than that. It's bigger. We want the equality, but we also want the equity.
Absolutely.
Inviting Junior to the game, to see the baseball game, because somebody else is in the stands, but you invite Jimmy to the game, but there's a fence in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's racial equality, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you invited him to the game. He just may have to stand and pull himself over the fence to see it.
Higher,
but you asked for racial equality, so we gave it to you. But I want racial equity. That means based on Jimmy's needs, that you take the fence down so he can comfortably see the game. So I'm not just happy with racial equality. I want the equity as well. I want to see our people with financial freedom and all the bells and whistles of an American. I want the piece of the pie that you have as well.
Absolutely. That's all we deserve. That's all we deserve.
Yes.
So.
Our president said, Biden, he said that he's signing the executive order for us to tear down systemic racism. So, kudos to him and hats off to him. I'm waiting.
Absolutely.
I want to help him take the bricks down.
Yeah. I'm sure we all do. I think it's those little things that are gonna help us get to where exactly we need to go as a society, as a country, and addressing a lot of those racial inequalities and systemic racism and things like that. So. I'm just happy that we're all getting to see you in your infancy in the beginning, and once you get big, I'm gonna say that you came on my show.
No, I'll still be on your show.
I
gotta come back. I got one more thing to say.
That's right. That's right.
I'm coming back.
You are always welcome to come back. I mean that's great. I mean you got me excited about it, everything that you
excited. Yes,
that you got going on.
Yes,
so
as I've said before, I said somebody had to put the bricks on to build the wall up.
Yep.
Of racial systemic racism in our society, and now we have to get a group of us, a majority of us, to help take those bricks down together. And at the end of the day, as I said in my manifesto, until all hands are on deck, and that becomes our creed.
Yep.
Until all boots are on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's true. Okay. Good, good. The last thing I wanted to talk about was leadership, which, we spoke a little bit about, right before you came on. I definitely know the value of leadership as someone who's had several good role models in my life and teachers who had instilled leadership in me. So it's definitely one of my biggest passions. But what types of, I know you do leadership coaching, so what types of leadership coaching do you do for people?
I think my personal best is personal leadership.
Okay.
To be able to take someone that wants to do better, and they ask the question, how can I become better? I'm like, I love to take them from that infancy stage and watch them grow as an individual and to see them become great.
Okay. Now, what do you usually see in someone that needs that kind of leadership push? Like, do you see like a desire to help others, or you have a desire to just be the best selves
Just
that they can
their
be?
personal best. I think all of us at some point in time in our life look in the mirror and say, I am just functioning as status quo. I'm dealing, in a place where I've just been doing just the bare minimum. And I think we can all, and if we can, or either we've said that before.
Oh, absolutely.
And so at some point in time, you look in the mirror and you see your greater self. But then you ask the question, how do I get there?
Yeah.
So being able to share those ideas with someone and actually, go over those things and pull it out. I have I call it my 4x4. I'll ask them 4 questions. What do you want to be? Or actually I ask them, who are you now?
Ooh.
Who do you want to be?
Yep.
Then what do I need to eliminate? And then what do I need to incorporate?
Okay.
In that 4x4, and that helps them. That helps a person like almost immediately, because you're forced to be honest with yourself. Who am I right now? Am I a procrastinator? Am I a liar? Whatever it is. And then who is it that I want to become? Then they say, I want to be this great person. I want to be a person that tells the truth, that's forthcoming, that's forthright. And then you say, then what do you need to eliminate? Stop the procrastination. Don't tell lies. Tell the truth all the time.
Yeah.
And then what do I need to incorporate? Truth at all times. Stand up in my truth, and then, figure out how can I become my personal best.
Yeah. No, that's definitely helpful. Speaking of becoming better, how important is good leadership skills in everyday life? I think people take for granted. They say, well, I'm shy, and maybe I don't like being in front of people. I mean, people kind of make leadership seem like it's all about public speaking and giving the right speeches, and but what are some of those skills that people kind of take for granted that is kind of important?
Their mistakes.
Yeah.
I always say, minimize the mess, and then maximize, those moments of, where you were in the mess. Because you can lift from those mistakes, and you can learn from those mistakes.
Yeah. And
then you can leverage from those mistakes. So it's always good. Mistakes are good. You succeed by falling. Every time you fall, you'll learn a lesson along the way, and you go, what? The next time I'm walking in this direction, I have to realize there's a roadblock. And then, that next time, not only will you recognize the roadblock, but you'll go over that roadblock a lot smoother because you've worked on that area. You looked at it, you lifted from that area, and you've leveraged from that area. Hey, you know what? If I need to jump the next time, I will.
Yeah.
So, and then, you hear so many people say, my dad told me I wouldn't be anything, and this person told me I wouldn't be anything. And then the one quote that I always teach every student that I'm in front of is, don't ever give people the power or the authority to dictate your day, your dreams, or your destiny. Absolutely. You are always 3 feet from goal. Absolutely. Always. Every day is a new opportunity. Every day. Every day.
No, absolutely. And would you say that learning from your mistakes is probably the biggest advice you give people in order to help them become better, just in life in general?
Life in general, you know, I say not only learn from your mistakes, but lift from those mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, lift from and then leverage from those mistakes. I would definitely every day, whatever you did yesterday, however you messed up yesterday, when tomorrow comes, you have a new opportunity.
Yeah.
To go back and correct those mistakes. Sometimes you can't actually go back and pick up the cracked egg, but you can say the next time they pass me that egg today, I know that I can handle it with care. I know that I can walk with care, and there's so much more that I can learn what I can do with the egg as opposed to dropping the egg.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes.
No, and that's true. That there's always some type of lesson to be learned from that previous mistake that you made. I mean, it's not always bad.
Absolutely.
It looks bad when you're in it.
Yeah.
And you feel embarrassed, you feel shameful, you're angry, you're upset. But you can always look back on it and pull something from it to help you advance yourself. And I think that's definitely a good lesson to tell everybody. You know, hey, your mistakes are your mistakes. I made mistakes. She's made mistakes. We all make mistakes. We're only human.
Absolutely.
You know, look to those mistakes and really try to improve upon them. So.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, you are always in position to win. You just have to have the will to possess the win.
Yep. Absolutely. Definitely. So, well, you know, before we head out, I just wanted to, give you a chance to publicize yourself and tell everybody about, if there's any events you have going on, any initiatives you have going on that they can be involved in. You can talk about your business as well, your ministry. Is there anything you wanted to kind of let the public know about?
Well, as I've stated earlier, I am in position at the moment right now, revamping everything and politically with a lot of the policies and everything that's in place right now. I can't exactly say what I'm doing as far as the political field, but you will, again, I'll be very visible here shortly. And I just... well, actually, you can always reach me through my email at the moment until I get everything up and running. But it's vikkibush@gmail.com.
Perfect.
And you can look forward to seeing me out there very soon, very visibly.
Good.
I'm going to be out there. So.
Hey, no, I'm excited for you, and it already sounds like you have so much that you're about to unleash on the world. So
yes.
I will definitely share your yes.
I'm definitely getting ready. I'm getting ready to unload. Yes. I'm getting ready to make a bomb. Yeah, I'm getting not a real bomb.
Not a real bomb.
I'm getting ready to I'm getting ready to detonate some sound.
That's right.
So yes.
We're all ready for it.
Absolutely.
We're definitely all ready for it. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I've learned quite a bit. Not just about you, but about some of the initiatives that you're doing.
Absolutely.
A lot of I'm sure the people out there learned a lot about leadership and how to kind of take and learn from your past mistakes and really kind of make yourself better, because what we want are people that are not only just self-aware themselves, but they're also in a good position to improve their lives and improve other people's lives. So I think you're doing some great work, and I'm excited for you. And yes, we are going to have her back on the show
anytime.
Once she gets up and going, I definitely want to see where she's at. We're going to monitor her success, because I'm going to ride those coattails.
Yes. And you'll be there. You'll be at some of the events.
Yes.
So everybody will be forced to be there, because I'm going to be out there.
Hey, give me a call anytime. I'll definitely be there. But we will go ahead and share your contact information as well. So everybody, if you want to get in contact with her, she also gave you her email, vikkibush@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
We'll get all of her contact information. So thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Bush.
Thank you.
And we are going to be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're gonna round up. So we'll be right back.
Get well, America.
everybody. We're back. We just spoke with Dr. Vicky Bush. So excited. I mean, we were just having a conversation, but we're back to just give you a little bit of things going on in the community, round up with you, of course, give you my contact information. And like I said, I'm going to have the contact information for both Miss Angela Johnson as well as Dr. Vicky Bush coming up here so that you can make sure that you keep track of both of them. These are very important and impactful Sheros that are doing some really great things in the community. So upcoming events that we have going on, I know that there are several different food drives that are going on in the community. You might want to check out those. I'm going to put links to some of those in this video as well, and in the comments section on Facebook. But one thing I wanted to let you guys know is, excuse me, that we have an election, going on right now. It's for your local school boards. So I know everybody's like, oh, well, we voted last year for Trump and Biden, and, I thought we were done with that. No, voting goes on constantly. We're voting for city council. We're voting for congressmen, senators. We're voting for constables, sheriffs, school board members. So it's very important that you exercise your right to vote and make your voice heard, because that is the biggest way that we are able to make change, by making your voice heard, so that our leaders know exactly where you stand on different things. And then you also know exactly which leaders are going to carry your message of change. If you want things to say, and if you want things to stay the same, that's fine as well. You just have to go out there and voice your opinion. And the way you do that is by voting. So make sure to get out there and vote. Find out when your local school board election is, and get out and vote. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we round up, I am the Executive Vice President of Legal for the American Caribbean Chamber of Commerce. If you've heard of the organization, we do a lot of great things in the community. We do food drives, we do charitable donations. We do a lot in the community to help people get back on their feet and to provide opportunities that most people do not have. So definitely feel free to check us out. Check out the American Caribbean Chamber of Commerce. I am putting together a legal council that is going to have the best and the brightest attorneys in all fields of law. So if you know someone that may be interested, definitely feel free to contact me. I'm about to give you my contact information so that we can get a lot of different lawyers that will be able to help everybody, from whatever issue you have. And I've spoke about a lot of different issues. Go back and check out season 1 so that you can see a lot of different issues that I've talked about, and you can learn a little bit about what it may take to help your situation. So that's that. So let me give you my contact information before we get out of here today, and I'll let you go enjoy your Friday. My email address is contact@goodmanmcgill.com. My phone number is 833-529-9748. My website is www.goodmanmcgill.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm probably on every website, every type of social media except for Snapchat or TikTok. I don't have a TikTok either. So, but feel free to reach out to me. Let me know kind of what you think about the show. If you want to see yourself on the show, reach out to me as well. We definitely want to highlight you and talk about the good work that you're doing in the community. Everybody's doing big things. So, I want to make sure that, I highlight that. So, definitely feel free to reach out to me on any platform. And of course, remember, when life gets you down, remember to lawyer up. All right, have a good Friday, everybody. Take care. Tune into the Lawyer Up with Steve podcast on the Boss Up Houston Network. Come get your questions answered. We'll see you then. And remember, lawyer up.